Okay, you want to make sure that you write the limit as n approaches infinity. You will lose a point for not writing that. And every point matters, okay? Every single point matters. So what you want to write is the limit as n approaches infinity of, and I'm going to rewrite this as -1 to the n minus 1. I guess that'll be n minus 1 plus 1 times 3 n, I'm sorry, let's start over again. I'm going to break this up, and I'm going to write this as -1 to the n minus 1 plus 1 times 3 to the n minus 1 plus 1 over n plus 1 times x to the n plus 1. And we're multiplying that by, the n is now in the numerator, and this is now -1 to the n minus 1 times 3 to the n minus 1 times x to the n. Now, if you're just simplifying and you're not taking the limit, then you need to write the limit as n approaches infinity again. But I'm going to simplify here, so when I get my answer, it is the simplified answer. So n and n plus 1 cancels. Because we're dealing with absolute value, we can get rid of the negatives altogether, because it's absolute value, so those negatives go away. This becomes 3 to the n, this is 3 to the n minus 1, so I'm going to have 3 to the n on the top or the bottom? The 3 goes to the top or the bottom? Top? That's what I thought. And that should be 3x. Is that correct? It's less than 1. Now, all they were asking for here was the radius of convergence. You didn't have to find the interval of convergence. If you found the interval of convergence, I guess that's okay, but what have you wasted? Time, and time is precious on the AT exam. So we can say that the absolute value of x is less than 1/3. Once this x no longer has a coefficient, it has a coefficient of 1, then we know that the radius of convergence is what? 1/3. But the only way we can do this is that x has to have a coefficient of 1. Okay? Are we good? How much was that worth? How much was that question worth? 3 points. So yes, the average on this was, what did I say, 2.87? So did I really say 2.98?
Yeah.
Okay. So that 3 points, you should have gotten that 3 points. So you should be above average for the rest of this. Okay? All righty. The next one was to write the first non-zero terms of the derivative. So writing that, we can do that one of two ways. Remember, we can write the original expression and then just differentiate each term. Or we could differentiate the nth term. Which one do you find easier to do? To write the series out and then differentiate the nth term? Does everybody find that one easiest? Okay, well then I'm going to differentiate the nth term, because you can do it either way, but if you're having problems doing that, I want to show you how to do it. Okay, so the nth term is given by -3 to the n minus 1 over n x to the nth. When we're looking at this, all of this acts like a what? Constant. This acts like a constant. So when I'm taking the derivative of it, it remains the same. -3 n minus 1 over n. Now, how do I have to use the power rule to take the derivative of this, which means n drops, and then I subtract 1 from the exponent. So the nth term would be -3 to the n minus 1 times x to the n minus 1. Okay? Now, you can start, we were told that it starts when n is equal to 1. So you can just start by writing the terms for this, knowing that n is equal to 1. So when n is equal to 1, we get 0 here. Yeah? We get 1. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. When n is equal, is it negative 1 or positive 1?
Positive.
Positive 1. When n is 2, we get negative 3 x to the first power. And then the next one, when this is n is 2, when n is 3, I get positive 3 x squared. Is that right?
3x, the whole thing squared.
X, 3 at the whole thing squared, so that's what, 9x squared? And the next one is 27x cubed?
Or negative.
Okay. All righty. That was worth, to write these 3 out, is that all they asked you in that question? Okay. So writing this was worth 2 points. So now there's definitely 5 points you could have gotten. Hands down, 5 points everybody could get. All righty. Now the second part is where we come into something weird that we haven't really talked about. Okay? What they want you to do, anytime they ask you to write a Taylor series as a function of something or show what it converges to, what they want you to recognize first is that it's geometric. So if this is geometric, what is R? What is it? Negative 3x is R. And if negative 3x is R, what is the sum? How do you find the sum of a geometric? A over 1 minus R. So what is A? What is R? And this is how they wanted you to write that as a rational expression. That was all you had to do. But fortunately, that was only worth 1 point. However, one thing we talked about in second block today is that this has seemed to be a trend. On the last 2 AP exams, they have asked you something like this. So on the test, if they ask you to write it as a function that converges, remember to write it as geometric. Remember to find the R and then write the sum of it. Okay? All righty. Then C, you also got a point. So right now you should have gotten at least 5 points. There was nothing tricky about getting those 5 points. For C, you could have gotten a point simply for writing the expression for e to x. What is the expression for e to the x? Plus x cubed over 3 factorial. Okay? So you got 1 point for writing that. So that's 3, 5, 6 points. You could have gotten 6 points. And I want you to get as many points as you can, but being above the average is always good. Okay? So now, what do we do with that? Well, they asked us to multiply it by f of x, and they gave us f of x. What is f of x? F of x are these terms. So we have not done these. I did not realize that you would be expected to do this on the AP exam. So now I know I can teach next year's students how to do it. Doesn't really help you, but... Yep. Okay, so what we need to multiply by is f of x. So what was f of x? X minus 3/2 x plus 3x cubed. Can somebody help me remember that? X minus 3/2 x squared
plus 3
plus 3x cubed. But you know how to do this from Algebra 1.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just spoil it out. That's all you have to do. And remember, this looks creepy because both of these go on and on and on, but we only have to do third degree. So when I multiply the first term, I get I get x plus or minus 3/2 x squared plus 3x cubed. I don't have to go further because I only need x cubed. Then when I multiply x, I get x squared minus 3/2 x cubed. And once again, I don't want to multiply by this one because then it'll give me x to the 4th. And then this last one, if I skipped this one? Okay, so then this one would be x cubed over 2 factorial. And if I tried to do this one, I'd get x to the 4th. And if I tried to multiply this by anything, I get x to the 4th. So this is my answer. They cleaned it up, but that's pretty much the answer. Okay?
I feel like we've done one like that before, because I got that right on the test.
Yes, you did. I was very proud of you.
Thanks.
Now, you could, they simplified it, but you don't have to. You could leave it like that. All righty? Any questions on that? Yes? How do you multiply the individual terms? I think because what was the question? I think it says find the first. So you're asking if you could multiply this general term by e to the x's general term? I think you could. And then just write it out? Yep. You should be able to do that, I think. Okay? All right. Any other questions? All right. What I want you to do is I want you to do